Hey, third graders! Welcome to our language lesson for today. Take your language books and turn to page 80. Yep, page 80. We're going to continue learning about how to use quotation marks properly. Okay, so we're on page 80. Let's remember. Use quotation marks before and after a direct quotation. A direct quotation is a person's exact words. So think of like someone speaking in a speech bubble. Okay, like in the comics. The end punctuation goes inside the quotation marks in a direct quotation. So let's look at the first one, okay? If it is correct, we'll put C if they're using the quotation marks and the end punctuation correctly. But if it's not correct, we'll put an I in the blank. Like this first one says, number 1. So make sure you're on page 80. This is page 80 once again. Number 1. Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Notice where they put the period, class. Outside of the quotation marks. That should look silly to you, okay? Because that looks super silly to me. If you're a good reader and you read a lot of books, it's going to look silly to you. So that's incorrect, okay? It should be inside. For example, number 2. Look at number 2. Ava asked, may I play outside? The end quotation, the question mark, is inside the quotation marks, which is great. That's how it should look. Okay, so this is correct. Number 3. President Reagan said, within the covers of the Bible are the answers for all the problems men face. So those are his exact words. Notice where the end punctuation is, where the period is. It is inside the quotation marks, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to put a C in the blank. Number 4. Our class called out, welcome back, Mrs. Turner. Wow, look at the end punctuation. It's outside the quotation mark. Silly, silly. It should be inside the quotation marks. So I for incorrect. Number 5. Abraham Lincoln once said, the best way to destroy your enemy is to make him your friend. Now, they're not really saying, Mr. Lincoln did not really mean to destroy an enemy. This quote means, if you don't want this man or woman to be your enemy anymore, just make him your friend. He didn't mean to say, destroy him. He meant to really say, make him your friend and he won't be your enemy anymore. All right, take a look at the end punctuation. It is, once again, outside the quotation marks. Silly, silly, right? So that means I have to put it inside, so that's incorrect. Okay, how are you doing so far? I really hope you're getting it. I really hope you're looking for that end punctuation and how it's supposed to be inside the quotation marks. Number 6. Christ said to the scribe, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Oh, cool. Look, the end punctuation is inside the quotation marks. Perfect. So that's a C for correct. Grandpa asked, would you like to help me plant these flowers? Ooh, do you see? Do you see how the end punctuation is outside the quotation marks? Silly, silly. Incorrect. All right, how'd you do? Remember, you can always go back and rewind the video if you need to. But let's move on now to think B. This time, we're going to put quotation marks around the sentences. Great. And I'm going to continue using pink, but my quotation marks will be thinner. So, number 1. Dr. Davis replied, and I believe replied was one of the dialogue tags from a long time ago on a spelling list. To reply means to just say something. So Dr. Davis replied, dialogue tag, oh, and they have a space, so they put a comma. And now we're going to imagine what he's saying in his speech bubble. So pretend this is Dr. Davis, pretend that's his speech bubble. What is he saying inside that speech bubble? This is what he's saying in his speech bubble. So I'm going to put quotation marks around that sentence. Pink again. So I'm going to put here, drink plenty of water and get some rest. And I'm going to make sure that my quotation marks also cover at least the end punctuation, that the end punctuation is inside the quotation marks. Martin asked, have you ever seen a comet? Okay, so once again, I'm going to think What is Martin asking? What's inside his speech bubble if I were, in a comic book? So he's saying this, okay? Have you ever seen a comet? Mrs. Palmer said, "Class, take out your crayons and rulers for art class today." I like how they put a comma after class because Mrs. Palmer is talking to the class, so they needed a comma there. But our quotation marks would start here because this is what she's saying in her speech bubble. Class, take out your crayons and rulers for art class today. There we go. Matt and Emily yelled, "Surprise!" So two people yelled this. So that means inside their speech bubble, they're saying, "Surprise!" Awesome. All right, think C. Oh, it's very short. So here are some things we need to add. Ooh, we've also got to look for capital letters, commas, end mark, so punctuation marks at the very end, and then quotation marks. So those are 4 things we need to look for in these sentences. I'm going to choose green this time. Mrs. Shaw said, "Anthony, you must wear your coat outside." So let's first of all recognize that there's a lot of letters that need to be capitalized. For example, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, the M in Mrs. needs to be capitalized. Shaw, that's her name, that needs to be capitalized. Anthony is a name of someone, also needs to be capitalized. And I think that's about it. So I'm done with capital letters. But I also need commas. So I'm doing this in order. So I've got capital letters, I need commas. I'm speaking to Anthony, right? If I'm speaking to Anthony, don't I need a comma after Anthony? Yeah, because that's the rule we looked at yesterday. So Anthony, comma, you must wear your coat outside. The next thing we need to look at are end marks. That means punctuation marks at the very end of the sentence. So Mrs. Shaw said, "Anthony, you must wear your coat outside." This is an imperative sentence. She is telling Anthony to do something. So when we have an imperative sentence and it's a command, we have to put a period at the end. And then finally, so we've got commas and end marks. We've got to look for quotation marks now. So I know someone is, well, these are someone's exact words because it uses the word said, the dialogue tag said. So here's what Mrs. Shaw is saying in her speech bubble when she's speaking. "Anthony, you must wear your coat outside." And then that's where the end quotation marks go. And then done. Okay. I hope checking off these qualifications helped you look for certain things in a sentence. Now, this next one is shorter, but we're still going to check mark what we are looking for, and I'm going to use purple now. Natalie squealed, "I see a mouse." Okay, so let's look for capital letters first, okay? So I've got to capitalize Natalie, and then the word I. That's it. So I'm done with capital letters. Now I've got to look for commas. Let's see. I don't think the comma is in the correct place, and I don't think I need any more commas in the sentence because it doesn't have yes or no at the beginning. I'm not talking to someone. I'm not addressing someone. Um, I'm not using and, but, or. So I think I'm good with commas. We're good. And punctuation marks, yeah. So look at the word squealed. When someone squeals, their voice goes up. It's high. So if I'm Natalie and I see a mouse, I'm gonna go, "I see a mouse!" Okay? And I'm like surprised, shocked, probably scared. So my voice is gonna go high. I'm not gonna sound like this. "I see a mouse." I'm gonna sound super surprised. So at the very end of the sentence, I'm gonna put an exclamation point because I am shocked. Shocked. I see a mouse. I see a mouse! That's how I'm going to say it. So I'm done with my end punctuation. Now I've got to look for quotation marks. Alrighty. She's squealing. So this is what she's saying exactly in her speech bubble. "I see a mouse." So I'm going to put my quotation marks here and over here. All right. How'd you do? Did you try some of these on your own? If you did, great. And that's it for our lesson. This is just a really cool review for our tests coming up. Okay? Alrighty. Thank you very much. I will see you at our Zoom meeting, and I hope you get to watch our math lesson. Please be sure to do that too. Bye.